What up, though? Gaga greetings. Peace and love. What up? What up? Hold on, let me type this in real quick. We about to go in. Hold on, let me type this in. Okay, here we go. What up? Gaga greetings. It's nowhere to go, but up, got nowhere to go. Yeah, nowhere to go, but up, got nowhere to go. Yeah, it's nowhere to go, but up, it's nowhere to go, but up, it's nowhere to go. What up? Woo! Yeah. What? It's nowhere to go, but up, it's nowhere to go. Yeah, nowhere to go, but up, it's nowhere to go. Yo, I say it's hard not to snap. A lot of niggas got no brains, a lot of rap. A lot of niggas got no aim, a lot of gats. A lot of hood rat chicks, a lot of brats. A lot of niggas cook cocaine and hustle crack. A lot of niggas took their pain and hollered back. Every leader we had died young and black. Jesus, Kunta, Malcolm X, Martin Luther, Nipsey, Biggie and Pac. Who the shooters? It's my life, I like peace, I'm like Buddha. What? Nowhere to go, but up. It's nowhere to go, but up. Yo, it's nowhere to go, but up. It's nowhere to go. Yeah, nowhere to go, but up. Got nowhere to go. Yeah, we got nowhere to go. Nowhere to go, but up. It's nowhere to go, but up. What up? I've been to the bottom, nowhere to go. It hurt when it's time to grow. Like new shoes, I got new bruises. There's no time for who's. It's win-win, just losers. Level up. New level, new devil. I'm going deep. Go get you a shovel, astrology, biology, like cosmic psychology, Christianity, Pope Gregory, Constantine, and the Talmud. Time to reset it, credit or debit. All of my epigenetics, I made it through hell and I'm going to heaven and glad that I never made news at 11. Mad that I paid all that dues to the reverend. Whoa! It's nowhere to go. Yeah, nowhere to go, but up. It's nowhere to go. It's nowhere to go, but up. It's nowhere to go. What up? Yo, Gaga greetings, peace and love. Respect everybody in the room. We about to build. You know what I'm saying? You about to be feeling this shit like a motherfucking spaceship. We done been to the bottom. It's nowhere to go but up. We done been to the bottom. And it's nowhere to go but up. And I was just chilling today. And this Jesus loving Kanye West supporting, listening to as white Jesus preaching, selling dude got in my comments and got me lit. I swear I was on some total other stuff and they then took it there to me, you know what I'm saying? So look, we got nowhere to go but up. You see what I'm saying? We done literally been to the bottom of the bottom. We done been to the bottom of the bottom. We done had the worst of the worst. Now where we gonna go? We gonna go up. See, we gotta realize the importance of this. We gotta realize the importance of imagery. We gotta realize the importance of having an image of God, of the Creator, being something other than what we know or what we are. Because this way we separate ourselves from being the creators, from being the teachers, from being the real educators, the real leaders. We separate ourselves. So when somebody comes to you looking like me, telling you that they're the Messiah, telling you that they're Jesus, telling you that they are the ones to give you some knowledge, you reject it. You reject it because you're used to seeing a white Messiah. You're used to seeing a white Jesus. Although that totally contradicts everything in the Bible illustrating Jesus, that contradicts everything from antiquity. And then we think that this is something that's not indicative of black people, indicative of ancient Africans. We see this as something separate, when all actuality, it's the origin of it. It's the origin. Ancient African origins of Christianity. And I should have spelled it with a K. You know what I'm saying? But we're about to build real quick. So people might be wondering, like, why? What's the importance of it? You know what I'm saying? I had somebody tell me that the other day, like, well, why is it important what color Jesus was? Niggas, you fucking kidding me? Why is it important? We understand the subconscious mind is working with imagery. It's working with images, pictures, embed in your subconscious mind. This is why our ancient African ancestors had a language called the hieroglyphic, which dealt with pictures. It was a pictographic language, and those pictures could say several different things with one picture. They have a fucking eye. That eye was the eye of Heru, the eye of Horus, the eye of Ra, and that eye meant several different things. It wasn't just a fucking eye. Like, yo, and it's crazy because when we go into these languages, these cultures that spun off after that, we see that their interpretations of the same exact words was so off, they did not understand. They did not understand. But yet nowadays what we find is we've picked up that misunderstanding. We picked up that miscommunication and we taken it and run with it. Now I say we, not to separate myself from everybody else. I think that it's irresponsible of us to not reach back. I think it's irresponsible of us to not have a Sankofa moment, and that's to look back and to fetch what we've lost. And a lot of our people are lost. You know right now, listen, everybody in this room right now, everybody in your family is in Christianity. Everybody in your family on Sunday is going to church. Yesterday, they was at church. Yesterday, everybody in your family was at church. They was either at church or they was at the mosque. Most likely, they was at church. If you're in America and you're black, your family was at church. So, with that being said, we got at least 40 million black people in America. 40 million black people, let's say 80% of them is, at least 80% of them is stuck in church. At least 80% of them is in church adhering to this Jesus doctrine, this doctrine that you got to die to get to heaven, this doctrine that God is outside of us, this doctrine that God is something, someone that's somewhere else and is not here. And you know what I'm saying? So this doctrine is what's holding back 80% of those 40 million people. So let's think about this. That means for every 10 people, 8 of them is stuck in Christianity. For every 10 black people, 8 of them is stuck believing that Jesus is a white person. For every fucking 10 of them. So I think it's irresponsible for us to only share this information with ourselves. And what I want to do, what I'm prepared to do this evening is give you the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs so you can not only know this information, you can not only look up this information, you can get the source of this information and you can share this information with your loved ones, with the people that you know who have a misinterpretation, a misunderstanding. And I'm going to go deep tonight. I'm going to go into some ancient papyrus, and I'm going to decode, and I'm going to translate the papyrus for you. I don't even know if you know what papyrus is. Papyrus is the precursor to paper. Before there was paper, there was papyrus. All right, let's get this straight. So before there was any paper, there was papyrus. Papyrus is the precursor to paper. Before there was any goddamn paper, there was papyrus. And papyrus only grows in one place on the planet, and that's in the Nile Valley. That's in Africa. That's the only place that papyrus ever grew. So in ancient times, if you wanted to get some paper, you wanted to write something down, you had to come to a black man or a black woman to get you some damn paper. So these were the first people who had literature. Being as though they were the first to have literature, they were first to be literate. So all of these things came out at a time in space where everybody else on the fucking planet was illiterate. Illiterate. They were illiterate. So you're talking about a Hebrew doctrine, they were illiterate. You're talking about a Christian doctrine, they were fucking illiterate. You're talking about Buddhism, Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witness, Baptists, any one of them, they were fucking illiterate when all of this was being paved. They were illiterate. Mormons, all of them, they were illiterate. And they still to this day do not fully comprehend this understanding. Our ancient African ancestors understood when they saw them coming that they lacked the intellectual enzymes to digest this information. This hearty meal, this rich intellectual sandwich, they lacked the intellectual enzymes to digest it. Woo! So they vomited some bullshit and got people to pick it up and still carry on this bullshit doctrine, this dogma. And then when we're talking about the intellectual enzymes, we're talking about the DNA. We're talking about our rich heritage, our DNA, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God is within you. All information is within you. Our intelligence is measured by our DNA. This is why they had crack cocaine in the ghetto. introduced in the ghetto. That's why they got all the junk food introduced in the ghetto. That's why they got Popeye's chicken introduced. All of that bullshit is in the ghetto first. This is why they put you in housing called projects. It's a fucking project. They put you in this little tight building space with people stacked up on each other, introduce some crack cocaine, and let's see what happens. Out of that, we got hip-hop. Out of that, we got jazz, R&B. Out of bullshit, we make the best that anybody has ever seen. Just like our ancestors, when they went to feed them, they gave them the scraps, and they turned that around and turned that into fucking soul food. They turned that into a billion-dollar industry. They gave them the scraps. Nobody was eating fucking chicken wings. They used to take the wing, cut that off, throw that in the trash, use the breast. But because of black people's genius, because of our DNA, because of our intellectual enzymes, now we've been forced to take some bullshit and create the best stuff on earth out of that. You see what I'm saying? So we got to continue in that legacy. So this is what we're doing. We're going to take this, scrap. We're going to take this scrap and we're going to turn it into gold. We're going to use alchemy right now. On a metaphysical level, we're going to take this scrap, this lead, and we're going to turn it into gold. Much like Nat Turner, when he learned how to read the Bible, he saw that and used those words to liberate himself and many other people. Much like Harriet Tubman, when she was introduced to Christianity, she took that and used that to liberate herself and many other people. See, it's not the doctrine itself, it's the translation, it's the interpretation, it's the origin. All of these things, when you put them together and you put them in the right light, they actually give you the keys to your liberation. Just like it did for Nat Turner, just like it did for Harriet Tubman, just like it did for Marcus Garvey, who was also a Christian, but led the movement and told the first Africans that were introduced to this shit, it's time to go. We got to leave up out of here. This is Garveyism. He said we got to go. Not only are we going, we're going on the Black Star Line. We're buying our own boats and we're getting the fuck up out of here. So this is a doctrine that's been handed. This is a blessing that's been handed down to us. And it's in our DNA. Literally, it's in our DNA. We are expressing this shit whether we know it or not. Whether we know it or not. And I'm going to show you how we're expressing it whether we know it or not. And a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know. So look, watch this. So I had a brother talk to me. One of my good friends, he's a Hebrew Israelite. I have no problem with people who adhere or ascribe to the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. I don't even have a problem with black Christians. My thing is, it's about the truth. Let's deal with the truth. Let's deal with the truth. And the truth is, the oldest and most complete Bible on earth is not Hebrew. The oldest and most complete Bible on earth is not Catholic. The oldest and most complete Bible on earth is not Greek. Now, if you want to know something, you should go to the source. Like if somebody tells you I said something, why would you go off of what they told you I said over what I'm saying I said? You need to go to the source, right? So when we go talking about the Bible, where is the oldest and most complete Bible on earth? Where is the source for this information? Where is the source for this information? Let's break it down real quick. Let's break it down real quick. All right? Let's break this down. Because, I had the brother tell me that the damn, the Hebrew Bible is the oldest Bible on earth. Who the hell told you that? This is a good friend of mine. Look, hell no. Lies. Look. Here you go right here. The Ethiopian Bible is the oldest and most complete Bible on earth. Look at this brother holding this. Look at him. Look at him. And look, it got pictures in it too. And it's written on papyrus. Look, we're about to get it in. The Ethiopian Bible is the oldest and most complete Bible on earth. We're about to get it in. Listen, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Don't you go nowhere. The Ethiopian Bible is the oldest and most complete Bible on earth. Now, I'm about to show you something. We're about to take right off. We're about to take off. So, the Ethiopian, this is the Coptic church. This is Ethiopian Coptic, right? Right. Now, let's watch this. Coptic. Ethiopian Coptic. Now, real quick. What does Coptic mean? What does Coptic mean? What does Coptic mean? Here we go. What does Coptic mean? Let's get it. Coptic, the language of the Copts, which represents the final stage of ancient Egyptian. Listen. Written in G's. Look, somebody's a ringer in here. Look. The language of the Copts, which represents the final stage of ancient Egyptian. It now survives only as the liturgical language of the Coptic Church. Now watch this. This is what's heavy. So Coptic means Egyptian. So this is just a translation of Egyptian doctrine. This is just translated from Egyptian. So these stories came straight from ancient Egypt. No wonder why we find the earliest stories of resurrection coming from the ancient African trinity of Asar, Set, and Heru. No wonder why we see these parallels between what we know now as Christianity and ancient Egyptian mythology. Mythology is actually stronger than history. They're trying to make these things history when it's not history. It's greater than history. It's still happening right now. See, when we think of, oh, it was Jesus then, and only Jesus can do that then, and we waiting for Jesus to come back as that person now, then we can't think of there being a Messiah amongst us right now that just so happens to look like me, because we accept this so-called Messiah as what the Greek church said, or what the what's the rest of them dudes? What are they called? The Protestants. The Protestants, like, we accepting what that is, but in reality, when we get to the historicity of it, it's us. Furthermore, the kingdom of God is within you. So in our DNA, our DNA expresses, oh my goodness. And look, watch this. We know this because when we get in the communities, when we get in the areas heavily saturated with black people, what do we see? What do we see? You see what they call hieroglyphics. But in the ghetto, they call it graffiti. Graffiti. Watch, let me show you something. Look, with graffiti, because I used to write graffiti. Watch this. I used to write graffiti. So let's just say the word we're writing in graffiti is cat. Right? So if the word we're writing in graffiti is cat, this will be the glyph. Right? Hold on. Let me, I want to give you a comparative. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. So give me the hieroglyphics. Okay. Nah, give me the whole translation. Give me the whole translation. Hieratic and Demotic. Here we go. Okay. Generally, hieroglyphics were used for monumental inscriptions and decorative texts, and hieratic was used for administrative texts, place more importance in context than appearance, which were written by hand, and Demotic in the, okay, that's just letting you know what it is. But this is how it broke down. Let's see. Let's go. Oh, Chief in the building? Here come the Lord. Shout out to my Chief. What's going on? So look, this is the hieroglyphic. Then there's the hieratic, and then there's the Demotic. So hieroglyphic, hieratic, then Demotic. See, it's like one is bold, outline, right? One is a little finer detailed, then the other one is embellished a lot more. So when we write graffiti in the ghetto, you find that one is bold, then one is a little bit more controlled, then the last one is like greater embellished. This the same way they write graffiti when you come to the hood. This the same word. This is the same word. This is what they call a wicket. It gets a little, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter what the word is. They write it a little bit more embellished. They embellish it a lot more. That's the Demotic script. That's equivalent to the Demotic script in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. So glyphics is graffiti. Graffiti is glyphics. That's why they call it that. Like, that's why you only see it in neighborhoods with heavily melanated people. And these people said that they were children of the sun. Children of the sun. Even the word Kemet. See, we think about Egypt. Egypt is a Greek word. This is what the Greeks called that land. But the people who lived there called it Kemet. Kemet. Kemet meaning the black land or the black community. You see what I'm saying? They brought us chemistry. Chemistry. Chem mean black, mystery meaning magic. So we are a magical people. We're a special people. We are a special people, a special magical. Yo, I'm about to break this shit down. All right, so look. Woo! And I got a treat for you. I got a treat for you this evening because I've been kind of studying Coptic just so I can show you some Coptic script so I can further break this down. So we went from the hieroglyphic, the Herodic, the Demotic. Now we're about to go into Coptic. And see, Coptic is what gave birth to Phoenician and Hebrew. So when people talk about Hebrew Israelites, understand that you're getting a translation. Why not just go to the source, which comes straight from my DNA, which comes straight from your DNA? But you don't understand that because you're abusing your body. You're eating damn poison, ain't you? You're living in Babylon, ain't you? First up here. Yo, this shit is crazy. And I'm getting out of here. Like real rap, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Because this shit is crazy. It's so crazy I can no longer ignore this shit. Like, yo, I can no longer ignore this shit. Like, it's real crazy. All right, so look. I have a document that I want to break out, but I'm going to do that last. Somebody in the room, please remind me not to forget this document. Because it's very heavy, and it's going to attest to how wonderfully magical that we are. Like, we the shit. Like, and it's a reason why I wake up and I feel the way I do. It's the reason why you wake up and you feel the way you do. It's in your DNA. It's in your code. It's in your code. You know what I'm saying? That's right. I can't. It's like once your mind has expanded, it won't go back. Like once you've expanded your mind, it can't go back and get in the box. You know, like we was talking about Kanye. I call him Kanye. I don't call him Kanye. I call him Kanye. He's co-opted himself. And you see why. It's because there's 40 million, at least 40 million black people in America. And out of those 40 million, there's at least, let's just be generous and say 80%. 80% of them are in black church. So out of 10, every 10 black people you come across in America, 8 of them is subscribing to the conventional form of Christianity. So Kanye is reaching those 80% of black people in America. That's his target audience. It's not us. That's his target audience. It's not us. He's trying to keep people recycling. He's trying to keep people stuck. See, we've been so starved intellectually. We're suffering from intellectual starvation. You gotta be stupid to not look in the sky and see these motherfuckers spraying you and just stay here. You gotta be stupid to go to the supermarket, see that the food not even real, and want to stay here. You gotta be stupid. Like you have to not be thinking clear. You have to not be thinking correctly to listen to music. Listen to music that encourages you to kill yourself. Watch videos that encourages you to kill yourself. Like, how smart is that? How smart is that? But our DNA holds our intelligence. That's the kicker. Our DNA measures our intelligence. It's measured by your DNA. So you have to cultivate healthy DNA. You have to cultivate healthy DNA. We can't just do what everybody do. We can't just do what the TV is programming you to do. This is what they do. This is what they do. Watch this. They know you like hip-hop, right? So on the commercial, it'll be about chicken nuggets. What they do? They put a banging ass beat on it. Got a nigga breakdancing and shit with the chicken nuggets and shit. He take the nugget and be dancing with the fucking nugget. And you just it's going to your subconscious. It's going right to your subconscious mind. The next thing you know, you in the car with the nugget, dancing and shit, eating the fucking nugget. Like, they know this shit. Like, everybody else knows who we are. Everybody else knows our capabilities but us. It seems like it's something that I'm not even sure. And realistically, it's damn near impossible for everybody to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why those of you who woke up now, you're chosen. You're chosen to, it's written inside your code for you to be here right now. This Aquarian age, the age of Aquarius, the water, The water poured, the information aids, the abundance of water. Only a fool is thirsty in an abundance of water. Only a fucking fool. Only a fool. So what we have to do is show by example. We got to lead by example and have a Sankofa moment. Look back. We're not going to stay here with you, but we're going to look back. We're going to look back and be like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We're going to look back to help you, but we're not going to stay with you. We're not going to stay with you. We can't do it. We can't do it because we can't ignore this shit. We can't ignore it. You know what I'm saying? So the universe is expressing itself. We are the universe experiencing itself. And my daughter, like, yo, out of the mouth of babies. Whew, my daughter woke up the other day just spitting facts. And it was beautiful. I filmed it and I posted it. In the beginning, I said, what was there in the beginning? She said, God. I said, okay, well, what did God use to make everything? She said, God. I said, okay. Well, who are you? She said, God. And it blew my fucking mind. And it's right there in the script. It's there already. Even in the Bible, Jesus told the Pharisees, you are God. He said it. Even if you want to go to that. Not that I'm saying that that's literal, but if you want to go to that, take it literally then. Take it literal. If you're going to that and you're making it literal, take it literally, because Jesus told everybody that you are God. He told everybody that the kingdom of God is within you. He said that. He said, so if that's the you know, the motto, if that's the motto, let's take it literally all the way. But no, that's not the interpretation that they give you on Sunday, because that will give you too much power, and then you don't need to come back and put that money in the plate. If you don't come back, put that money in the plate, then the pastor can't get his new car. You know what I'm saying? So one hand washes the other with our ignorance. We're suffering from intellectual starvation. Nobody knows about biology. And I'm not going to say nobody, like nobody in this room, because of course we got the chief, we got Carbonation, we got everybody going in on this end. But it's about applying that information. Like, are we just going to sit here complacent, what we know is bullshit, and override what we know intuitively? We have to apply the information. We have to really start walking with it. We have to really get up and do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's happening is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What you got to fight a man for when you can fight his mind? See, we're in theta when we're born. Our brains are in theta. And we're just retrieving information. We're retrieving information. We're just sucking in information. What you see is what you kind of believe. What you see, everybody's been a child. You've been a child. You can understand it because you saw something and you believed that was true. Like somebody told you something and you bought that. You kind of had to grow into looking and learning. And a lot of people are stuck in arrested development. In arrested development. This is why we got grown-ass teenagers. This is why we got grown men and women listening to the same music their children listen to, dressing with the same clothes their children dress at, looking at the same shows that their children are watching. Matter of fact, the children shouldn't even be watching it. Like, it's straight up garbage. There's nothing included to help us progress as people, as a human race. Number one, there's nothing. There's literally nothing. And what's happened is the elite few are using that to their advantage. Our ignorance is what gives everybody else strength. Our ignorance. They only have strength in our ignorance. When we really wake up, we can flip the game over overnight and really take over. Like, overnight, we wake up and take this shit over. Every problem that we think we have all the answers. We have all the answers to solve every problem that we think we have. Every problem. That's why, yo, give a shout out to the Chief. Give a shout out to Carbonation. Yo, see, and it's crazy because it's so much hate. Oh, it's so much hate. It's so much hate. You know what I'm saying? But the teachings is showing you that it's you. That's the funny part. It's you. Yo, it's you. But do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? Do you know who we are? See, when you understand who we are and who you are, you won't just shoot somebody down on the street for some insignificant shit. We wouldn't be leading the world in homicides. Black man, black woman. We wouldn't be leading in diabetes, in heart disease. We wouldn't be leading, oh my goodness. But we don't know who we are. You don't know who you are. But we've got into this mislabeling of things. You know, like a tree. But what is a tree? You think a tree call another tree a tree? Trees don't call another tree a tree. That's a word somebody taught you. But see, this is why our ancestors were so smart. Those ancient people, those ancient civilizations, they studied nature because they understood that nature was the expression of the Almighty. Nature was an expression of the universe. Nature was an expression of energy, of pure energy. And that energy it supports each other. It's complementary. You see, you need air to breathe, but they cut down trees. You need air. Hold up. We need air to breathe, but these motherfuckers gonna cut down trees? Why would you cut down a tree when you need air? Like, what the? Yo, listen. All of these things that's been done and that are still being done, now us melanites, us carbonites, us black people who are really the leaders and the educators have now picked up suit and joined in to cut the tree. Fuck it, I'm going to cut the trees. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they was the trash man. Now I'm going to be the trash man. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Through intellectual starvation, we forgot that we're supposed to be the leaders. We forgot that we're supposed to be the teachers. This is why they made Jesus, a.k.a. God, into the image of the lower self. And I was talking to somebody earlier, and I said, and they were trying to come at me about the post. So I'm like, bruh, you got white Jesus on your page. And the first thing they said to me is, what does it matter what color Jesus is? And I don't have white Jesus on my page. I'm like, you got like at least 4 white Jesuses on your page. And what do you mean, what does it matter? It's about the truth. It's about the truth. Let me show you again. Okay, so we went into the ancient Ethiopian Coptic Bible, right? Now I'm going to show you something real quick. A lot of y'all might have seen it, but a lot of people may not have seen it. And this is beautiful, like, and I'm showing you so you could look it up on your own and go in. You know what I'm saying? And definitely give me some feedback. All right, here we go. I support feedback, man. Like, I encourage feedback. Anybody hit me up, you already know I respond. Even if you tell me I get on your fucking nerve. Like, I'm cool with that. Oh man, my little ass Wi-Fi is giving me a rumble right now. Hold on. Here we go. It should work now. Stop playing with me. Alright, well let me continue to build. So there's these churches in Ethiopia in a place called Lalibela. You can look up Ethiopian churches in Lalibela. And at these churches, they were carved out of a single piece of volcanic rock. Like a volcano erupted, and out of that one piece of rock, they carved the whole building out of. It's like 3-story buildings. And they carved it with the same precision of the pyramid builders. They carved it with the same precision. Carved it in shapes of pyramids. Crosses. It's like a big building, the shape of a cross. Is not, no pieces put together. One single rock they carved it out of. In the ground. It's not even it's in the ground. Like some mystical, magical shit. Oh man, that reminds me. I gotta show you the document. Yo, I gotta show you this document. Hold up. I'm gonna do this right now so I don't forget. Damn, why did my Wi-Fi cut off? Hold up, don't go nowhere. Okay, I'm right back at you. Alright, boom. Give me my Wi-Fi. Let's go. I want to show you this document real quick because this document is heavy. Oh, man. There we go. They thought it was over. It ain't over. Alright, so let me show you this document real quick before I forget because I can get off topic. Okay, now, this document, and we got people out here talking about the Medu Neter has not been translated, hieroglyphics can't be read, all of this silly shit. But I don't think that they really looked. You know what I'm saying? And there's a couple of scholars who helped me to understand this. That helped me to study Coptic, the Coptic language, so I could bring this shit to you. That's Salim Faraji, who's like one of the biggest leading authority in Coptic, in Ethiopian Coptic, like in the world, number one. Just so happens the brother happens to be from West Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to break this joint down to you real quick to the best of my ability, alright? And we ain't going to go too far. Okay, here we go. We ain't going to go too far because I don't want you to be like, yo, what the hell are y'all talking about? Alright, so look. This is it right here. And this is called the Schmidt Magical Papyrus. Magical Papyrus. Hold on. It's still loading. Let me get it. So it's called the old Schmidt Magical Papyrus. Because what it is actually, it's not a religious document. It's a document for incantations. We were doing incantations. Like, this is the information that's in your DNA. This is what we're trying to bring up out of you. Your best. We're trying to bring the best up out of you. That's why I said any problem that we have right now, we can solve it. Any problem we think we have, we can solve it. Now look, let me just show you the original. Alright, so here's a picture of the original. Alright, this is the old Schmidt Papyrus. Just so you can find it. The old Coptic Schmidt Papyrus. Let's go. That's right, we can make a temple from the hell yeah. We can make gold out of lead. We can make something out of nothing, literally. Hold up. 48. Hold on, let me get, what page was that? 46, 45, I think it's 44. Okay. Okay. Hold on, let me show you. Let me share something else. Okay, here we go. Look. This is very little indeed as compared with other old Coptic texts. It provides beyond doubt that the Saitic, or rather parent idiom of Saitic, existed in the Nile Valley quite some time before the spread of Christianity. Hold on. Listen. Let me say that again. Or rather, the parent idiom of Saitic existed in the Nile Valley quite some time before the spread of Christianity in a pure pagan surrounding. Look, the mingling of dialects in texts like the Paris and Demotic magical papyri can be explained most plausibly. Listen, oh man, hold on, let me get it in. Hold on. Now look, watch this. Now this is where it deciphers it, and it actually shows you the interpretation. Let me get my focus together. Set my focus. Hell yeah, the devil's in the details. The evil is in the details. Hold up. Get my focus together, man. Stop playing. There we go. That's better. Okay. So now, let's see. Oh no, give me one more. Is that it? Okay. See, this is, here we go. The traces could suggest a reading of OYCEP, Onyo, right? Osir, Ophios, right? This is what it's saying. It's saying Osiris. It's saying Osiris. See that? It looks like a C, but that's actually pronounced like a I. You know what I'm saying? This is Osiris. Osep. Well, it looks like Osep. This is Osiris. You see that? And this is Osiris. Anophis. Anophris. Osiris Anophris. And just so you know that they not pulling this out of Greek. Look, just so you know they're not pulling, because people think Osiris is Greek. Nah, this came out of Coptic. And Coptic was not invented for the church, because this scripture has this papyrus has nothing about Jesus in it or religion in it. Look, that's the word right there. That's the Osiris. In the original, this is a photograph of the original. This is like 3,000 years old. You see what I'm saying? So all of these religions came out of ancient African black people, came out of your DNA. This is who you are. This is who you are. Genius. This is who you are. This is why they poison your food. This is why they poison your air. This is why they poison your water. This is why they poison your school system. Your public school system is just a nigger factory. That's all they make is niggers in there. It's a goddamn Negro P and manufacturing machine. Correct. Correct. So we got to build on. We got to build on that greatness. So for us to build on that greatness, we got to start stepping into who we are. We got to start moving exactly the way we know we're supposed to move. We the leaders. We are the leaders. Who that? We that. You see what I'm saying? This shit not a game. So next time you walk out there and you see these people with their bullshit, you know how to address them. Because you got to realize that maybe they just haven't learned enough about themselves. Maybe they just don't know who they really are. Maybe they don't know who we is. They don't know who we is. That's the problem. They don't know who we are. You see what I'm saying? We the leaders. We the leaders of the new school. Now that we waking up now that we're here in this space and time, we have to act in accordance with the God order. Huh? Huh? What? What? You think this shit happened by accident? No, this ain't happened. They've been planning for this shit for a long time. They came out with the FBI and the CIA have a term called a black identity extremist that they're waiting to label niggas with. A black identity extremist. How come ain't no white identity extremists? These white supremacists, they just now starting to acknowledge that this shit is a real shit. But we had people tell us about this. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing told us about this years ago. Years ago. Peace out to the doctor too. She's passed on. She's moved on to the ancestor realm. But she lives in us. We share genes. We share DNA, which means we share information. If we really tune in, if we understand what DNA is, if we understand that the kingdom of God is within you, huh? You're not crazy. You're not crazy. You just so happen to be alive in this space and time right now. What a beautiful time to log in. What a beautiful time to be here right now. It's our responsibility. Ain't that something? You would like it to be something else, wouldn't you? No, but it just happened to be, it's our time right now. And look, if you wanted to know, this joint is heavy. Like, I need to do a whole other build just on this specifically. Because this joint is crazy. Look, this is called the Old Coptic Schmidt Papyrus. See what I'm saying? See that JEA? You know what I'm saying? That's the Egyptian archaeology. Like, this is official. Yeah, I mean, like, we could break this down. Like, I'm gonna have to do a whole joint with this because the Coptic language is straight out of. See, here we go. There's the Hieratic, there's the Demotic, and then there's the Coptic. Like, you know what I'm saying? The Coptic comes straight after. See, there's the Hieratic, that's the Demotic, and then there's the Coptic. You know, it shows you how it breaks down. Like, it'll literally teach you how to translate the language. You know what I'm saying? So you can get back to the source. And when we get back to the source, we understand that everything was God. They called it the nature. They called it the nature, which is nature. The language was called Medu Nature. From Medu Nature, you get Mother Nature. Why you think they put it in stone? Because they knew that the lower self would try to corrupt it. They knew that the lower self would try to take this information and hoard it and keep us away from it. They knew that the lower self was not worthy to hold this unk. They were not worthy to hold this information. They lacked the intellectual enzymes, so they wrote it on the ceilings. They wrote it on the walls. They wrote it on paper. They wrote it on anything. You see what I'm saying? So now for us to build on top of that greatness, number one thing we got to do is realize who we are. You see what I'm saying? Who we are. Who that? What? We that. Who that? We that. You see what I mean? So we got greats that live in us. We're still doing the work of Imhotep. We're still doing the work of Nat Turner. We're still doing the work of Harriet Tubman. They're alive in you. You are your ancestors. You are your ancestors. We're here right now. What are you talking about? Like, this is not something that's a game. This is not something that's fairy tale. This is for real. And this document is over 3,000. This is like 3,000 years old document. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is something that's been kept away from us. We're suffering from intellectual starvation. We've been starved intellectually. We're distracted by the fucking game. We're distracted by entertainment. How many black men do I know that look like me that I can call on the phone and talk to about quantum physics, about biology, about astrology? How many do you know that you can pick up the phone and share this type of information with them? How many do you know that's breaking down papyrus? Yo, how many do you know? Not many. Not many. You got to come on over. You got to come on over to this side. You see what I'm saying? Yo, this shit crazy. I'm about to sit up for the rest of my night and try to put this together in another way that I could articulate it simply, because it's very, it's not even really complex. It's just so much different from what we've been taught. This showed you that we've been taught the exact wrong way, because these people don't understand. Even when you talk about Hebrew and you break down heaven in Hebrew, break down heaven in Hebrew, and when you break down heaven to define the word heaven in Hebrew, is going to tell you the sky. It's going to tell you the sky. And this is far from the truth. The kingdom of God is within us. But the root is the sky, the source. They still don't understand this. They pray to heaven, they looking at the sky and thinking that God is in the sky. When even in the Bible it tells you, ye are gods. It says it in the book, like it still say it. But to understand that the translation of that book came from a much older book, the Ethiopian Coptic Bible. And in the Coptic Bible, they have 81 books. Out of those 81 books, only 66 of them were left to be put into the King James Version. They took out a substantial amount because of the information in it was so deep. And the information, we don't need it in the book. It's inside of us. It's inside of us. The information is inside of us. We share the same genes. These are us. Like, it's us. This is why they cannot kill us. You can't kill God. Huh? Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. You can't do it. They've tried. They've tried. You can't do it. We done came from the pyramid builders, right, to the plantation survivors, right, to the project dwellers, right? And we still here. And out of all of that bamboozlement, we still got the nerve to say, I am God. We still got the nerve to say, black is beautiful. We still got the nerve to say, I love my hair like this. Out of all of the conditioning, out of all of the weave wearing and Negro peeing, acting and talking, I still got the nerve to want to let my hair do what it do, to be natural, to be happy being beautiful and black and beautifully, naturally me, to be in my organic God self. How can this happen? How can this happen? It's because it lives in us. It lives in us. It lives in us. We that. You see what I'm saying? We that. So, cultivating healthy DNA, gaining your mind back, understanding who you are. These are things that are being taught out of our children, our future selves. Your child is your future self. Your parent is your past self. You're living the same life as your parent. Some of us, that's unfortunate. But for these new children that's coming out, it's going to be very fortunate because we've broken that inherited epigenetic contract, that soul contract. We're breaking those contracts. We're breaking that inherited epigenetics. I lived the same life as my father. And my father lived the same life as his father. Literally. Like, I can't even make this shit up. Like, it scared me when I realized that me, my father, and my father's father had the same path in our life. And when I woke up and realized it, I decided I no longer wanted to ride that wave. So I made changes in my life. And these are the things that we need to show these future selves of ours. But it's something about these future generations, just like how my child woke up and just blew my mind, telling me she was God. Like, it was crazy. These future selves are going to be teaching us. A lot of us are going to learn from our future selves, from our children, from these next generation that's coming through our loins and through the sky. When you say your sun sign, when you tell me that your sun sign is a damn Aries, what you're saying is the constellation. You're saying that a constellation beamed your consciousness through the sun to your ass. This is what you're saying to me. But we don't understand because this has been taken out of our religious texts. This has been taken out of our compulsory education. This has been taken out of the basic, common, everyday vernacular back and forth. This has been taken out and dismissed as some foolishness. But in all actuality, this is who you are. This is how you figure out your mind. Then through biology, this is how we figure out this temple. You don't understand how your temple works. This is how you can defile your temple. That's why they call this your temple. Your temple. The temple houses the spirit. You see what I mean? So we got to write ourselves in the universe, in this reality. And the physical is a representation of the non-physical. So what you think, your thoughts, oh my goodness, thought is powerful. Thought came from Thoth. Thoth is where you get thought. You know, the dude with the ibis crane. Thoth is where you get thought. Yo, and this is crazy because when you look into Thoth did some because the Greeks took it and called it Hermes and the Hermetic principles. This all came from Thoth, which is where you get the word thought from, Thoth. But see, this is in our DNA. We already know this. That's why we say things that sometimes it just connects. That's why we write graffiti on the walls. Don't even know about Herodic and Demotic. The average dude out here writing graffiti don't know nothing about no Herodic and no Demotic text, but yet he's writing that way. You see what I'm saying? He knows nothing about hieroglyphics, Herodic, Demotic, and Coptic, Phoenician. He knows nothing about that, but yet he's writing that way with a marker and shake the damn marker and write that way. How can that be? It's because it's in our DNA. You are the universe expressing itself. That's who you are. You're not a Hebrew. You're not a damn Moor. You're not a Muslim. You're not a Christian. You are the universe expressing itself. The Necharu, nature. The Medu Necha, Mother Nature. That's who you are. That's truly who you are. So we can't get hung up on these boxes. They want to put you in a box. You know what I'm saying? You're easily carried and controlled when you're in a box. So we're going to put this in a box. When we realize that there really is no box, that we're not limited to just this city. We're not limited to just this neighborhood. We're not limited to just what the society says that you have to be. So because I'm tall and I'm black, I got to play basketball. I can't be a scholar. No way. I'm not a teacher. I'm not the Messiah, nigga. I'm a rapper. You must be good at football, You pretty fast, That's what this is. That's what society's telling us we got to be. But when we understand that, we can slam dunk the whole damn planet if we want to. The sky is not the limit. The sky is just the beginning. When we understand that that's who we are, then we take a different position. You see what I'm saying? That's why we got people like Dr. Sebi. Never went to school in his life. But then later ended up curing these diseases, these diseases that nobody else could cure. This is why we got people like Vivian Thomas. Vivian Thomas never went to school in his life. Johns Hopkins Hospital hired him as a janitor. They had this genius mopping the floor, taking out the trash. Vivian Thomas snuck into the operating room and perfected heart surgery at a time when nobody else could do it. None of these so-called scholars that was going to these medical schools and these accredited institutions, none of them could do heart surgery, but you let a black man you labeled as a janitor come in here and now he's teaching them heart surgery. It's because his genes, his genetic code, his DNA, the universe expressing through him. And that's who you share genes with. That's who you share genetic information with. It's you. That's you. You could be the next. You don't even understand how deep this shit is. But this is why they need us in their schools. We don't need the schools need you. You don't need the school needs you. Because just like Vivian Thomas, your genius can be used. They used Vivian Thomas's genius. Once he did it, Vivian could have went off, started his own practice, started his own school, and then had that skill be something indicative to black people in America. But what they did was they put Vivian under the wing. They pulled him in and made him the head surgeon at their institution. So now they stay clean to it. And this happened with a lot of, especially we're dealing with the American African, black people in America. This happened a lot. This is why they want to keep you in Babylon. They want to keep you on their plantation. They want to keep you in Detroit. They want to keep you in Philly. They want to keep you in New York. They want to keep you in California because your genius will be used to power their system. Your inner G will be used to power that system. The same exact way. The same exact way. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But we've grown comfortable. We Stockholm syndrome. You fell in love with your oppressor. We fell in love with it. You know what I'm saying? We've been pacified to stay still. We've been pacified to be quiet. You know, it was a point of time when liberation looked like getting away from the plantation, getting away from the dogs, the whips, the gun, the barbed wire fence. Ultimate liberation looked like getting away from that. So it was a migratory liberation. And then time changed, some legislation passed. Now there's no plantations. But now liberation looked like equality. Oh, we want to ride on the bus. Oh, we want to eat the same foods. Oh, we want to have a job too. So ultimate liberation changed again. But then something still wasn't right. So now ultimate liberation looked like, oh, we want to go to the same schools you go to. Yeah, that's it. We want the right to vote too. Yeah, that's right. We want to sit on the same bus in the seat that you get to sit in too. Yeah, that's what we want. So then ultimate liberation changed again. There's some legislation passed, some things changed, time went on. Now what does ultimate liberation look like? Now what's your problem? You get to have the same thing we do. You get to have the same rights. You get to have the same voting privilege. You get to have the same this. But What we don't understand is it's the system. It's the interpretation. Babylon lives here. It lives here. All we're doing is taking the position of the colonizer. It's taking the position of the so-called slave master. We've traded hands. Now, nobody's going to beat you because you're going to beat yourself. Nobody's going to force you to work. You're going to do it to yourself. So now we're doing it to ourselves. Can't you see that? We're doing it to ourselves. So there's no longer white people, exclusively shooting black people. No, we got black police that shoot black people too. We've got black colonizers that's cracking the whip on black people too. You been to jail? I've been to jail. It's black people turning them keys. It's black people taking black people out, whooping their ass, throwing back in there. We have been co-opted to the point that we become detrimental to ourselves. That's why the term Negropean is so adequate. A Negropean is one who goes, a black person who goes and works counter to the benefit of their group. Regardless of knowing it or not, ignorance does not exclude you from being a Negropean. Ignorance does not exclude you from, so what you don't know. Now that you do know, what do you do? See, I was a Negropean. I was a Negropean like a mug. I used to sell drugs. I used to shoot niggas. I had about 10 cars, 5 houses. I did all that shit. I was Babyloned up. But when I realized this shit, like I used to eat dead animals, all that shit. Nigga put extra chicken on my shit. Put bacon on my chicken. I ain't even like chicken unless it had bacon on it. That was my shit. You know what I'm saying? But when I realized what I was doing, I gave all that shit up. I gave all that shit up. Anybody in here that knows me personally, when I was definitely like vibrating low, you know I'm not lying to you. You know I'm not lying to you. I had at least 10 cars at one time. I gave them away. I'm lying. I sold like 4 of them, but I gave the rest of them away because I realized it was moving counter towards what I was trying to do. We need to go back to being creators, manufacturers. We are the real leaders. Why would you have a car that just puts poison in the air? You got to breathe the fucking air. Why don't we have the real geniuses building cars anymore? The first car company in America was a car company called the Patterson Car Company. Let me see if my Wi-Fi, bear with me. The Patterson Car Company was founded by a black man. Who was enslaved. And when he was released, my Wi-Fi's acting up. And after the abolishment of slavery, after he was released from slavery, he started a damn car manufacturer. When there was no cars being made, he started it. And his car, the Patterson automobile, the Patterson Car Company, made cars way more sophisticated than Henry Ford, who we think the Model T Ford. Yeah, that's the first car. Model Ts, them Jones, no, they wasn't. The Patterson Car Company made cars far more sophisticated than Henry Ford. Crazy thing is, Henry Ford had the power plant, and he was able to mass produce those cars. But he only got the power plant from George Washington Carver, another black man, another genius, another super sapien. See, you got Homo sapien, sapien, then you got the super sapien. We're super sapiens. We're the new humans. You see what I'm saying? We're the new humans. Y'all not ready for this shit, y'all. Y'all not ready for this shit. But, see, what's happening is, being as though we're in this culture medium that we call a community. It's not really a community. It's not really your community. We're in this culture medium that we call a city. We're in this culture medium that we call our state, that we call our country. It's controlling our behavior. It's controlling our behavior. Like, this is basic shit. Like, as above, so below. If you study the micro, you can understand the macro. By studying the micro, you understand the macro. You see what I mean? So, by studying the micro, we can see how a cell behaves when the environment is introduced with certain things. Those things introduced to the environment control how the cell behaves. You are a cell. Even when you look on the individual small cells that make up your whole organism, even those cells have organs called organelles. Just like you have organs, every cell that makes up your whole physical being has organelles. Every single one have organs, have a digestive system, respiratory system, central nervous system. All of these things exist in every little trillion cell that makes up, it's like 4 or 5 trillion cells that make up your body. They all have the same thing that you have uniformly. Your organism is made of the same things. So with those things being what make us, that is who we are. That's who you are. So when you put your cell, your organism, into this culture medium that we call the ghetto, it dictates how you behave. You ever ride with somebody and you hear police siren and they tighten up? Like as soon as they hear the siren, they tighten up. Yo, we was just chilling. As soon as you hear the siren, niggas tighten up. Make sure the steering wheel 9 to 3. Check the mirror. They turn the radio down. All that shit. This dictates how you behave. The culture medium that you're in. You could be in one city, go to another city. The people in the other city know you ain't from their city because of how you behave, how you walk, how you talk. Where you from? Yeah, I could tell. I could tell because of the culture medium that you were in. Change your behavior. So when you come over to this side, now you act kind of different. Yeah, you must be from a real stressful city. Where you from? Philly? Jersey? New York? You're kind of aggressive. This is shit that we know. But to actually apply this information is for us to get ourselves into the correct culture medium. For us to cultivate healthy DNA. For us to bring out the genius that lays dormant inside of our body. For us to bring out that expression of the universe, which we call God, to vibrate at its highest frequency. Huh? This is what we need to do. It's no longer a debate now. Like, how many more Sandra Blands do we have to go through? How many more Mike Browns do we have to see? How many more Trayvon Martins do we have to go through? I'm out. I'm going to know right now. I'm out. Yo, real rap. Shout out to Duncan. That's my brother, too. We got some shit cooking. You know what I'm saying? And it's about time. And once we really activate, once we really start moving the way we're supposed to move, we're going to change the world. Literally. Change the world. And there's people who are waiting for us to do so. Nobody, it's our responsibility. You know what I'm saying? It's our responsibility. Nobody else's responsibility to tell you how great you are so you can put them in the second place. Nobody's going to do that. It's up to us. So when we got people speaking to us, we got people talking to us, and then we come under attack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I get so much shit like all the time. Shout out to Chief. I know he get a bunch of hate mail. Like the hate is crazy, and that's what's so vicious is because this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be like, yeah, I'm the shit. We're supposed to be like, yeah, I'm gonna teach you this. We're supposed to say, yeah, I understand this because what I've done is remove myself from the incorrect culture medium and put myself in a healthy environment to be more conductive, to receive this information and let it flow through me organically. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Education is not remembering shit and just saying it. Education is allowing what's laying dormant inside of you to flow through you. That's the root, the etymology of the word educate is educare, which means to bring out. The information is already in you. We're bringing information out. But see, the Western world has told you to fucking input information. So you got children just writing shit and regurgitating it. They still don't understand it. That's why they go to school for so fucking long, still don't understand the shit. This is why every summer vacation, you done forgot everything you learned the whole year you was in school because you didn't do anything but remember some shit. And then you go to lunch and you eat some bullshit, further damaging your DNA. You got the school is like prison. It's just like prison. If anybody's been to jail, it's just the same thing. It's a baby jail. It's a fucking baby jail. That's what they have your children go to. And you know damn well as a parent, you don't even care what they do with your child. You just put them there so you can go to the plantation. You just put them there so you can go to the plantation, do your 8 hours, and then come back. You just don't want nothing. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like daycare. You know what I'm saying? It's prison. It's prison. They got to line up. They got to go to the yard. They go to the calf. They eat. They go back to their cell. It's the same exact thing. But we don't understand that we're making ourselves available for people to teach us who are the same people that used to lynch us. Oh my God. Like, imagine that. Like, these the same people that used to. So, while our inherited epigenetics is filled with the pyramid builders, the plantation survivors, and the project dwellers, what is their inherited epigenetics filled with? The colonizers, the lynchers. So when you see people in church, especially black people going to black church, and they don't even have a black Jesus in there, they will tell you, and not to even argue that point like it's so significant, but it is. Because imagery speaks to your subconscious. So when that little black boy looks at that image of black Jesus, this reminds him of his greatness, of his potential. But we're not even doing that. We're encouraging this little black boy to grow up, to get a job, to work for the lower self, to speak well, to dress and act like a Negro-pean, as close as he can to a European, so he can get a job in the system and be another battery. Hard facts tonight. Hard facts. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta break this. We gotta break these contracts right here. Like, you know, this is something that's being programmed in our inherited epigenetics. That now that we realize what's going on, now it's our turn. Like, we're the leaders. We're the old heads now. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X, Martin Luther King were 34 and 35 years old before they were murdered. How many people in this room right now, 34, 35, 30 years old? And if you're not, this means you even got more of a head, more of a jump. And these younger people, 20, 21, y'all lit. Y'all lit. Yo, I wish, listen, when I was a young boy, and I was telling somebody this the other day, I'm at a strategic place in my life. I'm at a strategic place in my life because I remember some things that younger people don't fully comprehend from the vantage point that I have. Listen, I remember before there were seedless watermelons. There were no seedless watermelons back in 86, man. You couldn't find them. I remember before seedless grapes. There were no seedless water. And not to say the 86 is when I logged in. I logged in 81. But I'm going back to where I had full, you know what I'm saying, comprehension. There was no seedless grapes. There were no seedless grapes. There were no seedless watermelon. No seedless oranges. You couldn't find that shit. Now all of these GMOs have become regular. They have become normalized. You get some grapes, they got no seeds in it. You don't think that's a fucking problem. You just eat them. You get a watermelon, no seeds in it. You don't even think that's a problem. You just eat the shit. My nigga, that's not real food. That's not real food. It's not real food. They're feeding you some make-believe shit. Like, you're really in the Matrix. not the original Matrix. You're in the Matrix, in the Matrix. Yo, listen. Like, I feel like a sane person in an insane asylum sometimes. Like, this shit is crazy. Even with drugs. Like, somebody 25, 26, 27, you see a crackhead and think that's normal. My nigga, I remember when crack came out. It's like one day there was no crack, everything was normal. Next day it was crack everywhere. Like, the shit happened like over a weekend. Like, I swear to you, like, it was like a damn crack explosion. It was like a crack explosion. One day it was normal, it was regular, kids playing in the street, everything cool. Next day, crack everywhere. But now, crackheads have become so normalized, you think this is normal. You see nothing wrong with being with crackheads or that. You see that's normal to you. These are genetically modified human beings. These are genetically modified human beings. You see what I'm saying? And you don't think that has a link with the food? Because you are what you eat. This is a theorem. You are what you eat. So if you're eating non-gagutical foods, you're behaving in a non-gagutical persona. If you're eating, if your food doesn't come from God, you're not behaving like God. You're not thinking like a God. You're not moving. That's why you're a crackhead. Duh. Why you think it only hits? So why you think only certain people will gravitate? Like, listen, real rap. I remember that. I remember at night TV used to go off. Put some nines in the room if you remember that. I remember when TV used to just go off. You be watching TV, then TV go off at night. It'd be like 12 o'clock. TV just go off. Because the TV is programming your subconscious. On top of the TV programming your subconscious, the shit gives off radiation. It's giving off radiation. The light, the blue light from the TV is connecting to your pineal gland, which is it senses light. It senses light and it synthesizes serotonin and melatonin. This is why you have problems sleeping without the TV on. This is why you can't think clearly. As soon as you come in your house, turn TV on. Sit your child down right in front of the TV. They addicted to the TV. We don't even understand why. Nigga, I remember TV just used to go off at night. The whole damn world. The TV would just go off. If you ain't have no VHS cassette deck or no goddamn Betamax, your TV was off at night. You had no options. The TV was off. Now we got programming running. And they call it programming because it's programming you. All night, 24 hours. Programming. I remember this didn't exist. This is a different reality. We're being engineered. We're being modified in every aspect of our reality. Real shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. Don't even get me started with the phone. The phone used to be in a bag. Cell phone, this shit in my hand, used to be in a fucking bag. Used to be a big ass bag with a damn big ass phone on it. You need a fucking book bag to talk on the phone. That's because the phone generates a lot of energy, a lot of power, a lot of radiation. What they did was they condensed that. This is a chip. They're talking about putting microchips in people. Guess what? You're walking around with your microchip in your hand right now. That's why they can trace your phone wherever you at. It's a microchip. It's a chip. It's a tracking device. All they're going to do is take this tracking device from out of your hand and put it in your body. They're going to condense it. Just like the cell phone used to be a big-ass bag, and they condensed it to this, they're going to condense it more. And then they're going to put that inside of you somewhere and be able to track you. Like, if you understand the past, you know where you're going. You know what I'm saying? If you can understand that. But see, this is the reason why, the people who are my age, it's important for us to wake up so we can help you to understand some things that you might not fully grasp yet. That you might not fully grasp, that we can grasp from our wisdom of having going through this shit. There were no seedless foods like that in the 80s. It didn't exist. It didn't exist. And people acted differently. Real rap. People act differently now. Crazy dumb. Dumb. The dumb as hell. Like a box of rocks. Like a bag with nails in it. It's just dumb. That's just dumb. Why don't you put the nails in the bag? That's just dumb. That's what we got. You know what I'm saying? But I realized that because I've been through what I've been through. You know what I mean? But look, I'm going to sign off because they stole some time from us. My melatonin is still kicking in. I know it's really damn near 1 o'clock for real. You know what I'm saying? Man, it might be longer than that. This shit 1:30. For real. Because I feel it. You know what I'm saying? But look, I'm going to build with y'all again. And I'm going to go in on this Coptic language and decipher that into Medu Neter. I'm going to spend some more time. I got my daughter, so I'll be She's just so fast and demanding. I don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to make some time. And I'm still building on that mathematics of veganism. I'm almost ready for that. It might be this week. If it ain't this week, it'll definitely be early next week. You know what I'm saying? So look, this is your brother, and I love you because I love myself.